What a beautiful day for a flight. We have the Fimi X8 SE 2022. Not what I had anticipated for a flight. Originally, I was going to do a waypoint mission and label it beyond the red zone. Now with Fimi, which I really like, it's a good feature, especially on the X8 Mini, when you do a waypoint mission, it gives you a red circle 1 kilometer around your home point. Now I'll put a link up here of one of the waypoint missions I did where I actually went beyond the red zone with the X8 Mini. And Fimi says, that's impossible, you can't do that. Well, see for yourself. But I did make a waypoint mission here to go well outside the red zone. And if I had put it to continue, would have lost connection, continued with the flight, and come home at the end. But with the X8 SE 2022, which uses a different app, doesn't use the Navi Mini app, it uses the other app. Anyway, it doesn't allow you to go beyond the 1 kilometer circle. Even if you make it offline, and you can make it offline, but as soon as you recall it when you're flying and you want to execute it, it will tell you you can't go beyond the 1 kilometer limit. So maybe that's something different between the two. But I digress. Regardless, the waypoint mission for the Fimi is pretty good. I love the fact that just in case you lose connection, it will continue to do the waypoint mission. Now Hubson has told me, well, that's the same as ours. Well, no, there's nowhere in the Hubson app, the X-Hubson 2 app, that allows you to alter the option when it ends a mission. It simply hovers. There's no option to return to home. The only way it will return to home is if it fail-safes. So if you lose connection or your battery's low, it's going to come home. But if you lose connection partway through your waypoint mission in the Hubson, that's it. It's going to come home. Not like the Fimi or this one. So I've just gone around that one lake, and it's beautiful. It's a nice spring, warm day, blue sky. It's gorgeous. And you've seen that before. So now we're heading back towards the house. You may have noticed in the bottom right corner, it looks like a screen recording. Well, it is and it isn't. It's not the traditional screen capture. This is actually the flight record. And the flight record of this flight shows you the stick movements I used, the actual battery consumption of each cell, all the telemetry, all the data, the map, everything, and also includes, if you look in the details just below the stick movements, it'll tell you when they enter return to home and when they don't. Now the flight record video isn't quite in sync with real time. It's a little bit slower, so you have to stretch it a little bit. It takes a little doing, but I got it pretty close. But it does give you more details. Okay? So what we're looking at now is a gravel pit, and beyond that you can see a lake. Now that gravel pit is called Cedar Vale Gravel Pit, and they have a bunch of them in the area here. But they say within the next 3 or 4 years it's going to close down because they're going to run out of gravel. But they said that 5 years ago, so who knows. But beyond the gravel pit you see a lake. Now I do have the Anafi. I've had the Bebops. I've got the Mavic Mini. I've got the Hobson Mini. None of them, even I had the Mavic Air 2 for a short while. None of them would go beyond the extent of this gravel pit because of where I am. It's all trees and water, and I'm basically sitting in my garage. But the Fimi X8 SE, we're now here, and we're going to go beyond the gravel pit. I don't exactly know how far I go, but I think I go over 2 kilometers. And that's absolutely amazing for me. And my horizon stays pretty good. The colors aren't too bad. I have noticed sometimes I get a little bit of bluing, but this is all auto. All the settings are auto. I would probably get better results if I manually fixed white balance and selected a better ISO and shutter speed. Or maybe even if I did HDR, which the Fimi X8 SE can do. Well, just to be clear here, I have never gone this far on any of my drones. Not a chance. I've never seen this lake. Didn't know it was here. I might have seen it on Google Maps, but I've never seen it by flying the drone. And I don't know how far I can go. But when we go over to the right here, if I kept on going, and I'm pointing directly north now, a little bit farther east on the other side of the gravel pit is a small lake that I've flown over, but that's only about 1 kilometer from the house. So I've never gone this far. And I was intrigued. I thought this was an island, but it's not. And I'm intrigued to take the X8 SE up this way more often, just to see what's up here. There's got to be some fascinating inlets up here and things that nobody ever sees. Because all this land up here, there's hundreds and hundreds of lakes. And they're not all connected by roads. Some of them you just cannot get to. So I'd be very interested to find out what access points I can have to some of these lakes, and maybe go up with a kayak in the summer and try traversing them and finding out new spots. Now I turn around pretty soon here because I didn't know about the battery and I didn't want to get caught, so I decided to turn around. But I'm wondering, can I get to the other side of the lake? I don't know. So we turn around. And that's a lot farther than I thought it was. And I looked at my battery consumption. I thought I was going to run out of battery coming home. But obviously I didn't. When we come home, I did notice here that it was in return to home, then not return to home. I may have touched the sticks now and again. Sometimes I was manually flying, sometimes I wasn't, and I went from return to home to manual flying back and forth, back and forth. But it was a really nice flight. And again, the Fimi X8 SE 2022, there's all kinds of people complaining about the horizon. I'm pretty lucky. I don't have that much of an issue with it. I'm coming back over the gravel pit. You can see it has some water sources, and it's a pretty busy pit most times. But we'll speed across the pit here just to speed this video up a little bit and go to the other side. And now you can see that the skyline is still pretty good. The horizon's pretty good, but the blue sky is kind of washed out. And that could be the settings. that they're put in auto instead of manual. But we're coming back, and it's been a pretty good flight. Uh, it was about this point I was getting a little nervous for my battery, and I didn't know, because of the wind, I didn't know how fast I could come back. I was getting a little worried. Do I have enough battery power to get back? If it falls, where's it going to fall? I tried to be pretty close to the road, but not on the road. And if it landed, it would land in the grass, hopefully. So I kept on coming. And it was about here that I realized, yes, I'm gonna make it home. No problem. I didn't know how fast the battery was gonna drain, but now we know we're gonna make it home. So that's about it. It was a great flight. It went way beyond what I had expected it to do. I've never been out that far. So be sure I'll be out there again and exploring even farther. Till next time, get out there and enjoy the outdoors.